Hello. I just wanted to talk about the links between nature, industrialization, and disconnection, and kind of go around these topics. I think we can safely say, um, in this day and age, majority of people live in here, live in their head. Um, Not because of they want to, it's just society is designed that way that most people have to live in their head, thinking what to do next. However, once upon a time, which I'm not romanticizing time or a different century or a different time, but once upon a time, for a long time, as humans lived so close with nature, we planted crops according to the different seasons. We knew the weather patterns, the materials for the house were collected from nature. Um, the food, a lot of the food in across the different cultures, they were made because of what the surrounding area provided them. The kind of clothing that people wore in across different cultures were because of the surrounding nature around them again. And we didn't work individually. We worked with the people as a collective group. And so with this, there was a lot more connection with one and the two. We didn't have, and we went to, for example, in Europe, people in the winter time, people had a different kind of working hours before, I imagine, than the current time model. So it all made me think industrialization, yes, currently this world, I'm here because of industrialization, but industrialization essentially it disconnected a lot of people from themselves, the nature, and the people around them. Industrialization, of course, in terms of economic power, it developed a lot, like a lot. But in terms of mental, individual, emotional, collective health, it had more negative effect. And you might be saying, well, what do you want to do about that? Well, I can't do anything about that. That is how the society is built. But what I am trying to say is, in a world that is connected with technology, that is ever more connected to what's going on up here, that's ever more always just go, 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 we need to take some answers. We need to look back and look at how our forefathers used to live, or yes, how forefathers used to live. Obviously, of course, we have a better lifestyle or better quality of life in one sense or the other. What I'm just trying to say is we need to connect with the things around us more, not just in our head, not just with social media, not just with what's on TV, just purely observing the birds around you, the sounds, the trees, the way it's flailing, the wind, noticing um, the flowers that are growing around where you live, um, or how the trees around, I don't know if there's a national park or if there's a park around you, how they intertwine around each other. When we observe these things auditorially or visually, it really does have a change in the way we go about in the world. And soon we realize the beauty between us and the abundance around us. People, we need to, again, I'm not blaming anybody, it's just the system is designed in a way that it 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 cuts the connection, but we have to somehow rebuild it. And in English, there are words such as holistic living or the whole life living, but these words never existed before in another language because this was the way of living, um, made by hands. And in English, when you say, "Oh, something is made by hand," it's such a foreign. It's such a wow, like that's posh or that's so. But actually, in many cultures, things were made by hand, and that was the natural way of living. And once upon a time, because it was so common, it wasn't expensive. But these days, when something is like a furniture is made out of wood, the value is higher because it's less common. And actually, something that's mass produced is cheaper. Um, yeah. Anyway, I digress a bit. I'm coming back to the nature of topic. We have all the amenities that our forefathers didn't have. Like we have mobile phones, we have technology, we can go on holidays, um, we live longer, we can have nice clothes. But there are a lot of things that we can learn as well from the generations who lived before us. And one of the thing is living, observing the nature and living around the cyclical cycle.